There is no change without discomfort, and I've realized this to be true. This kid I once was didn't make a change because he was comfortable with the person he was. I was small, felt unwanted by my own family, and I was tired of it. So I started training. And after a few years, I started competing, worked my way up to the national level, and had some good time doing it. I've been blessed to build a community, which is you guys, around the very thing I love doing, and have some adventures I never thought I'd have along the way, not to mention the adventure of learning how to build a brand and invest in myself and my future. But none of those big things just happen. Honestly, my progress has been a result of just doing the little things every day. So here's what they are. Waking up early is great, but I found it's even better just to have a consistent sleep schedule that you can stick with. Something that okay, I'll be able to get to sleep around this time, which means I can wake up around this time. And I know once that alarm goes off and I get up, man, that's already a win. I'm already on top of it, already on time for the day. And that's wherever I am. Usually I'm doing this routine out in Ohio, but I've been lucky enough to be out in Arizona for a minute, so I'm enjoying staying on point here. I'm a big believer in setting the right mind frame and attitude for the day. So the first thing I'm doing is usually just taking a minute and really being present and grateful. Just grateful for the abilities and the blessings God has put into my life. Sometimes I write them down, sometimes I just say them in my head. Then if my morning schedule permits, I'll knock out my daily 15 minutes of reading. Sometimes it's more, sometimes half an hour, but at least 15 minutes. And I like it to be something that either deepens my understanding of myself or deepens my understanding about the world around me. And that becomes a great space in my day for journaling. Usually it's something I'm picking up from what I'm reading. Occasionally it could be something I heard from a friend or in conversation. But I swear I'm on my phone actually being productive, at least most of the time. It is tempting to want to check socials, but the more I'm focused on just being right here in my notes, the better my day is. So then I'm usually switching notes and making sure I have my day laid out. Really, I like to break this up between short-term and long-term goals. Short-term, more often than not, are getting crossed off by the end of the day. Then I usually work for a bit before going to the gym. Even here out of town, there's a little office, so I was able to get a good amount of work done before leaving the place. And I'm not a big electric car guy, but being in the Tesla for the first time was pretty smooth. The next big win of the day is training, and really every day I'm doing something physical, even if it's just some light cardio on an off day, because really it does so much for my mind, man. This is really the first pillar that I consciously started implementing to turn my mindset around. I mean, some of you who have followed my channel for a minute might know my story from the vlogs I've done in the past, but it wasn't easy, man, because I didn't have the self-belief or the self-confidence. Growing up with the narrative that my family left me, and because of that, I am worthless. Man, I had so much built up emotion, so much anger, so much frustration, and the gym was the first thing in my life that was like, man, I could put all that energy into the weights, and it was doing two things. It was releasing all that emotion, but at the same time, it was building my body. But the other side of that, to really make that go, is nutrition. I wouldn't have been able to build my physique if I didn't learn how to lock in on my nutrition, track my macros, budget my calories. And this is a spot where we all have some bad habits going into, so it can mean it's gonna be tough to change. But I'm a believer that the things that are toughest to change are usually the most rewarding in the end when you do change them. So that's really it, man. Those are the daily tasks I've been focusing on. That's what I use to sharpen my discipline. It's simple, but they're not always easy to execute on, especially when, in the past I've looked back, I've had to change a habit. So for those of you who have worked with me in the past, and those of you who are working with me in the present on my training app, man, it's a blessing, and I like that we've really, locked in and dialed in on the training, for lack of a better word. But I've never felt like I've fully been able to pair the mindset, which is at the core of everything, to the training, in a way that is something that can be executed on every day, at least until now. So for the better part of this year, I've been working with my team on that app to really use these principles that have done really so much for me and put them into some kind of program that allows you to execute on, but also assess, like, okay, how am I doing? What am I falling off with? What am I able to stick to? More importantly, like, where do I, how can I improve those things that I'm not consistently able to execute on? Because man, just try some of these things. Like, just try them. Like, if you feel like, man, I'm just spinning my wheels, things aren't working, feel like I can never get on the frequency I want to be on, you'd be amazed what consistently doing just a couple of these daily wins can do, let alone, knocking out all 7. So if you are interested in the program, I'll put some information on signing up in the description of this video. Man, I'm pumped, especially for you guys who jump on early in the first 4 weeks. I'll be doing a live group call with all of you every Wednesday around 8 p.m. Eastern. Figure that'll be a good time for at least everybody in the Americas. Ideally, do a little something after work for most people, but we'll get on there, man. We can talk anything from nutrition to training to why the heck I can't seem to get in a routine with going to sleep at night, man, all that good stuff. So to end it on this, the outlook you have on life, man, it's everything. It's like you could be as wealthy as you want to be, and if you don't have the right attitude and mindset, life is miserable. And vice versa. You could not have hit the career goals you want to hit yet, or situationally, people might look at you and be like, man, he must be down and out. But if you can cultivate the right mindset, especially when things aren't easy, especially when things are rough, man, you're gonna come out pretty damn strong. That's for sure. And no one can ever take away your mindset from you, man. I'm telling you that right now. Man, thank you for watching this video. Genuinely, I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.